Kids are cute. Hi friend! In this video, I probably won't be very funny, but what I will do is share with you why I changed my mind about abortion, what I used to believe, what I believe now, and why I changed my mind. And along the way, I'll also be sharing with you my most embarrassing blunder that I'm not proud of about what I used to think about abortion. Oh, and trigger warning, my current thinking about the topic will probably piss you off, no matter which side of the aisle you're on. Hey! Why are you sharing your opinion about abortion, JP? Because as a man who obviously could get pregnant at any time, I just feel that it's important that my voice is heard on the matter. And if you don't think my voice should be heard, then that implies that you don't think men can get pregnant. So be careful, because we don't want you contradicting yourself with the conflicting Marxist agendas that your mind is infected with. It's so true. But why I'm really sharing my opinion is I used to think one way about abortion, and now I think a completely different way about it. And I just want to share how my thinking has changed, because I think it's really important that we allow our thinking to change, because that's how we learn and grow. And another reason is that given that the topic of abortion can throw people into a hysterical fit of polarized rage, I just want to share the 2 cents that comes from my heart and logical discernment. Not my emotional hysteria.
Shut up, you oppressive man! We don't need your toxic masculinity.
Hi, feminists! If you see toxic masculinity everywhere you look, then the mirror of life might be trying to tell you something about yourself. But I'm sure I'm wrong, because I'm just an empowered man and you're just a rageful woman who still hasn't recovered from her daddy issues. Also,
he said he wasn't going to be very funny in this, but I disagree. He's throwing some jabs in there as he does usually, and I love how he pointed out the fact that a lot of times if you see racism, sexism, or whatever phobia-ism everywhere you look, it's probably projection. And I like how he threw in there, it's like, the fact that we can't define what a woman is anymore pretty much means anybody can speak on whatever topic they wish. Alright, let's continue.
So my current thoughts on abortion probably aren't what you think they're gonna be either. You might be thinking, oh, JP, Mr. Freedom? Well, of course your thinking's gonna be in line with the conservatives. No, not exactly. I don't like to outsource my thinking to any group. I like to think for myself. And you might also be thinking, well, does that mean, JP, you've gone all crazy liberal on us? You gonna dye your hair blue next? Nope. My thinking definitely isn't in line with what they're told to think, nor is it in some boring middle ground either. It's more in like a straight line that pierces into a different dimension. So let me explain, starting with what I used to think about abortion, and at the end, we'll get to what I do think about abortion now. I used to think pretty much like a leftist about abortion. Not only did I think women should have the right to an abortion, I thought getting an abortion was a pretty empowered choice for a woman to make. Like, you go girl, kill that baby. And I also used to think that like in the first trimester, the baby that you're about to kill, it's not really a baby yet, because I've heard other people say that, and it's a pretty convenient thing to think. Here's my most embarrassing blunder about my old thinking about abortion. Now, I'm not proud of it, but it's true, so I'm going to share it. Here it is. The thinking that was going through my mind about abortion, it wasn't my thinking. The leftist propaganda about abortion got to me. I'll admit it. I fell for it. And it's 100% my fault. It was nothing other than mental weakness and a lack of self-awareness on my part that allowed it. And the scariest thing about it was I didn't know it was propaganda. I thought it was my own thinking. Leftist propaganda about abortion, JP? Huh? Yeah, without sugarcoating it, I think there's evil, tyrannical people in this world, controlled by Satan if I'm being honest, and I am, who want to keep the population of the world small so it's easier for them to control everybody, and they want to destroy the nuclear family so people grow up weaker and are therefore more controllable. And knowing's half the battle.
Stopping it there. Okay, I love that he hit on this, because the left, progressives, anybody left of crazy, love to use the term social constructs right? Like anything that's conservative, anything that's Republican, it's a social construct, or it's brainwashing by the patriarchy or misogynist, or you have internalized racism or whatever, right? Nothing can be natural, biological, or just the way it is. Everything's a social construct, but only if it is right of anything of their ideology, right? For some reason, being pro-choice isn't a social construct, but abortion rights and feminism and being pro-choice has been drilled into society long before I was even born. My generation, the younger generation, Gen X, boomers, maybe even before boomers have been born into society that has told you that not only is an abortion a right for women, but is a proud right. It's something to be proud of, right? You know, I was never told until like I got adopted by my religious family that abortions were wrong. Like I grew up in a society that told me abortion was okay. It was right. It was the right thing to do. It was a human right, and it was a thing that made you strong and powerful, which I still to this day don't understand how they flipped that around. But for some reason, that is not a social construct. For some reason, that's not just brainwashing. That's not just a narrative. That's just not propaganda. It's the same thing with the whole gender thing. Like, you can say, like, the older half of my generation, which is millennials or Gen X or boomers, had a social construct of gender roles. But this new generation and the younger half of millennials, I mean, you go to high schools now and half of the high school identify as trans or gender fluid or non-binary. So these younger generations is growing up in that social construct. But that's not social construct. That's not brainwashing. That's progression. That's just the way we should progress, instead of that also being a social construct. They love to use this term, but only if it goes against their ideology. And I like how he took ownership of just blindly believing and having mental weakness. Like he said, I just said that, oh, a 3-month-old fetus is not a baby because I heard someone else says it. I heard someone else say clump of cells, so now I say clump of cells. I heard someone else say parasite, so now I say parasite, because it's convenient and it just makes me feel better about the idea of sniffing out human life. And unlike JP, I never actually had that much change in thought when it comes to abortion, because like when I was younger, I just didn't think about it, right? And then as I got older, when I started to think about it, I always had the same belief system, which a lot of my really right-wingers or conservatives or religious folks don't like, which is, for me, is like, I am personally pro-life. I am not going to go yell and scream and throw a Bible in a woman's face and call her a child murderer and protest clinics and blow them up. I'm not going to do that, because I think, first of all, it's inefficient. You're not changing anybody's mind. You're just being self-righteous and being a virtue signaler just in real life. No matter if you think you're part of God's army or not, is not efficient. You're being a dickhead and asshole and you're harassing someone. But I'm also never going to fight against like Roe. Like, I'm glad Roe is being overturned. I'm extremely happy that it's being pushed back to the states and that choice is given to the people. For people who are so pro-choice, they seem like they're very anti-giving the people of those individual states the right and the voice to say what they want to go on in their states when it comes to abortion laws and rights. So I'm very happy about that. Do I think it's a horrible thing to do? Yes. Do I think you're killing a human life? Yes. Am I going to sit there and shame someone for having one? No. And again, I'm not going to harass someone to not have one or whatever. I'm not doing that either. I like what he said about the whole, like, not, what do you say? Like, not, giving his, someone else the job to think for him. And again, that goes with the right or the left. I just reacted to a George Carlin video, and he was saying, like, people as on an individual level can be great, but when they get into groups, that group becomes the control. And so whether you are right, left, in the middle, when you start to put yourself into these groups and you put all these labels on you, it becomes a cult. It becomes a tribe. You stop thinking for yourself. Like, it just happens. It's just like human nature to, again, just give someone, if that's the idea, that's the ideology I believe in, so that's the ideology I would take, without actually dissecting it and really thinking about it for yourself. I will never be that person. That's why I'm never going to call myself a conservative. I'm never calling myself a Christian. I'm never calling myself a liberal. I am who I am as an individual. My thoughts are my thoughts. My beliefs are my beliefs, and my values are my values. And if they don't jive with you so much but you don't want to watch me anymore, then unsubscribe. Anyway, I'm getting back to JP. I've been talking long enough.
Getting people to get abortions is a big strategy of theirs, and they get people to get abortions through their propaganda that gets people to think that not only are abortions okay, but abortions should be a celebrated, empowered choice. More on that in a minute, but the moral of this story is that propaganda got to me. Now my pronouns are he who thinks for himself, so I can better draw a distinction between what my heart feels and what my own critical thinking says versus the propaganda that comes into my mind from outside sources. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've made a lot of progress in this area. Thus, I no longer believe abortions are just okay, and I certainly don't believe there's something to be celebrated. I look at what I used to think and what's all over the leftist media today, and it's very clear that people are being persuaded to think about abortion as a virtue. This happens through weaponized morality. That's when you have manipulative people who get good people to think that doing something horrible is not only not horrible, but it's a good thing to do. It's a moral thing. In Nazi Germany, it was turn your neighbor in to face a certain death because it's the right thing to do. Now it's scream at your neighbor for not getting jabbed because it helps keep everyone safe. Or peacefully burn down buildings in Portland because racial equality is important. Or get an abortion because of women's empowerment. Sound familiar? Yeah. It's all weaponized morality. I will unapologetically say that pretending a baby isn't a baby and then killing the baby is not a virtue. It might be a choice, but it's certainly not a virtue. Having a choice is empowering, but that doesn't mean any choice you make is an empowered choice. For example, if you're over 21, you have the choice of whether or not to drink large amounts of alcohol every night. And if you choose to get drunk every night, that doesn't mean you're choosing an empowered choice. I think we'd all agree that though the choice is yours, choosing to drink excessively every night is a very disempowered choice. Yet weaponized morality tries to get women to think that they're making an empowered choice if they choose to abort their baby. But what I consider to be a very empowered choice for women around reproduction is for them to have very strong discernment and boundaries about who they have sex with in the first place. Having sex with someone to fill a psychological void so you can feel like you matter to them and are valued by them for a few moments is a very disempowered choice from the Genesis. But I got an abortion, so I'm empowered now. No, because anything built on the foundation of a disempowered choice will simply be an extension of disempowerment. The illusion of empowered choice in the abortion scenario is maybe just a rationalization for not improving your self-esteem by using courage to make more empowered choices from the get-go that have you filling your psychological voids from within rather than using men to fill them. Hi again, feminists! Feel free to go back and listen to that part again. And just so you know, getting mad every time you hear someone say something you don't like doesn't make you empowered. It makes you unstable. Okay, JP. You've shared what you used to think about abortion.
Okay, stopping it there. Again, my thoughts on this hasn't changed. That doesn't mean I'm being stubborn or anything like that. It's just that for abortion, it always kind of stayed consistent. I never felt like abortion was empowering at all. I never really understood that rhetoric. Is like, empowering is like, I don't know, like actually like accomplishing something. Like, I don't really understand, again, going on in clinic, laying on your back, spreading your leg, and having your child or could-be child sucked out of you. I don't understand how that's empowering. You didn't accomplish anything. Like, you have done nothing. Why are you empowered by that? So I never understood that, and I never believed that. Again, he said it's a choice, but it's not a virtuous one, and it's not an empowering one. When he talks about the having discernment over who you sleep with, I very much, like, for me, like, I'm sex positive. Like, for me, you can sleep with whoever you want, whenever you want. However, you are still responsible for your womb and your body. As a female, you can't be more upset with the guy for not wanting to stick around for the baby and less upset with yourself for not protecting your own womb and your own body. It's your body. It's your womb. It's you. Why wouldn't you protect it over, trying to depend on a man to protect it? You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, I see sometimes these women who have like 5 babies with 5 different baby daddies, and they're upset with the men, but it's like, are you upset with yourself? like you kept doing it over and over and over again, spreading your legs and not protecting yourself, right? It's like for me, if I'm having sex with someone, it's condom, it's pull out, and it's other methods all wrapped in one. I'm not getting pregnant because I want to protect my womb. When I was younger, did I do the whole like, sleep with guys just to be liked? Yes, I think a lot of girls go through that. Now I sleep with guys because I just want to sleep with them when I want to sleep with them. And not that I'm a slut or whore or anything like that, but I do it because I want to do it, not because the guy wants me to do it or because I want to be liked or loved or anything like that, because I love myself. But I do believe that women need to take more accountability for protecting their womb and not being pregnant. All right, let's continue.
Used to think about abortion. So what do you think about abortion? Great question. My current perspective will probably piss off all the leftists, and it'll probably piss off a lot of conservatives who otherwise agree with me on a lot of issues, but instead of just going along with groupthink, I'd rather be honest. So here it is. I think abortions are evil, yet should be legal for the first couple months after conception. Say more, JP. I will. I truly believe that abortion is straight up killing babies. And not only is that not a virtue, that's evil. Yet, if I imagine I'm a woman, as apparently a lot of men are doing nowadays, and I imagine I was raped, which is certainly an act of evil itself, and I got pregnant from it, I think I would get an abortion. Is that still evil? Like, I don't know, probably. But I'd still probably get one. Okay, and you said a couple months after conception, like, why a couple months, JP? It's just kind of an arbitrary number. But what I'm certain of, though, is late-term abortions and even mid-term abortions should be completely banned. And for the record, I don't believe any of the BS that says, well, a baby isn't a baby until we want it to be a baby. No, a baby is a baby from the moment of conception. And there's evil lunatics out there that want to be able to kill babies up until the moment of birth. And there's even a California bill that's been proposed that would allow people to kill babies up to 28 days after birth. There's no question in my mind that there's nothing but pure evil behind this. And if you give these evil lunatics an inch, they'll take a mile. But they'll take that mile inch by inch, so your mind acclimates along the way and can't quite distinguish how outrageously evil the acts are. Unchecked, you can only just imagine where these evil lunatics will have abortion in 20 years. Oh, your kid's 2 years old. Does he talk yet? No. Oh, well, a clump of cells isn't really a human until it learns language. So why don't you take him out back for an abortion while we celebrate you? Okay. So you might be saying, okay, JP, you think abortion is pure evil, yet you don't think it should be 100% banned? Don't you think we have a responsibility to protect unborn children? That's a great question, and I could imagine how that could be very true. And another way I'm looking at it in this moment is through the lens of a freedom maximalist. For the baby inside that mother, God has assigned that mother and father to be the protectors of him or her. And in the name of not letting the God-given freedom and sovereignty over the mother's being infringed on while the baby's inside of her, I do worry that outsiders stepping in to try to protect the unborn child could be an erosion of freedom that exists on a very slippery slope. And if the parents not only don't protect the fetus, but actually harm it, then that means they are very shitty protectors. And from there, that's perhaps for God to deal with them about, not for other people to play God and deal with them about. And I don't know if I'm right with this part of my thinking. I just know it's what my thinking is in this moment. So in conclusion, I think abortion is evil and should be a choice with limits on it. And I think it's a very evil choice. I believe children are divine droplets of God incarnated to allow divinity to unfold and for heaven on earth to be lived. And I think the killing of divine droplets of God is nothing other than satanic. I also believe there's many loving women out there who have had abortions and now they feel the pain and regret of it. To them I say, please have a voice so your light can help illuminate a better way for other women out there who would otherwise be misguided by all the weaponized morality and the abortion propaganda. I also believe that if you're in your heart and you truly ask for it, God, yourself, and your baby's soul will forgive you. We've all done things in our life we feel remorse about, certainly including me. Further in conclusion, I believe there's vicious propaganda out there that tries to frame abortion as a virtuous thing to do. I recommend never outsourcing your thinking to the propaganda or the evil tyrants controlling it, while you think for yourself instead. Finally, I love evolving my thinking, which means having the courage to disagree with what I used to think is true so that I can learn, grow, and adopt beliefs that serve me better now. And I could be delusional, but I think it's beneficial for everyone to do the same thing. That's why I made this video, to help encourage it. Now to you! What do you think about abortion? Is it any different than what you used to think about it? What topics have you allowed yourself to change your thinking about over time? And how have you become empowered as a result? And if you haven't changed your thinking about anything, how's it feel to be super certain of yourself while you refuse to grow? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, stay free, my friend.
Alright guys, answer the question down below. Like, what do you think about abortions? How you have your thinking changed? Again, my thinking really hasn't changed, but it's not really because like I've been stubborn. I have really thought about it and I have contemplated it, and it just, to me, it's the same. Like, I don't think it's empowering. I think it's a horrible choice that somebody has to make. I am personally pro-life, but I'm not going to bash anybody over the fucking head and shame them to death for getting an abortion or believing in it or whatever, right? I am more in the lines of JP. Like, I think there should be heavy limits. I'm not so with the whole like woman's life in danger thing, because like I feel like, first of all, from what I heard, if a woman's life is in danger because of the pregnancy, it's usually long into the pregnancy. So a lot of times the baby lives can be saved, and by just delivering the baby early or having a C-section. So I would prefer that to happen instead of just like having a late-term abortion to save the mother's life, right? And I personally feel like if I was a mom and if it was a choice between my baby and me, I would pick my baby. I think you're kind of a crappy mom if like you choose your life over your child. Like, I don't know, like, no shame. I just feel like, come on. However, as a woman being sexually assaulted, like I couldn't imagine, and I know this is the extreme cases, but I couldn't imagine a child being raped by their father and then being forced to have that baby. I would just never, ever in my wildest dreams feel like I would have any right to tell that person what to do. And I understand the other narrative of that is like, well, the baby didn't ask for that. The baby's also a victim. Why do they have to pay again? But again, I just couldn't imagine. I really couldn't imagine that torment you're going through to watch your belly grow and your body change, knowing that your father raped you and put that inside of you. Like, I just couldn't ever imagine that pain of going through that. So for me, yeah, like for stuff like that, I would be okay with. But even if there was a giant law changed and said only for, you know, rape, incest, and if the mother's life is in danger, all those three together is literally like 1% or a little less than 1% of abortions. You're still saving billions of babies' lives just in the U.S. alone. And so for me, that's a compromise. Is a compromise still doing an evil thing? Yes. But I feel like God would understand. Like, in my opinion, God would understand that. I mean, we have capital punishment. I think killing people is not right. That's bad. But that's something that a lot of Christians and a lot of conservatives actually accept as something okay. So I get what he's saying. The whole like this evilness, this evil tyrannical sort of propaganda to keep the population low, I also very much agree with that. I think is population control, and I think it's also a form of eugenics, and I think it's one of the greatest tricks ever pulled in mankind, like a wool pull over our eyes to get millions upon millions upon millions of people to not only be okay with millions and millions of unborn killed. I think, what is it, 66 million babies, I believe, in just the United States. To be okay with that type of genocide, and not to be only okay with it, but to celebrate it. That is psychopathic to me, and I think it has destroyed the human empathy levels, and I think it's disgusting. And I do think one day the next generations from now is going to look back just like we look back on the Holocaust and go like, how could those people allow that to happen? One day people will look back on us and go like, what the fuck, guys? I mean, it's really going to look like this. Our generations and the ones before us it's gonna make us look like we were just this evil murdering population, because it's like, how are you okay with that? And just transparency, I did watch this already, and when JP got to that whole like bill that I guess California is trying to pass like 2 weeks after birth, I literally got physically ill. Like, I feel like I had some sort of physical attack. Like, I almost wanted to throw up when I heard that. Again, I said in my George Carlin video that my most recent one I reacted to, come on, rapture, like let it happen. Because when we get to the point where we have to debate whether it's okay to kill a baby after 2 weeks after being born, human race is lost. We lost the plan. We're done. We've hit the idea of Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, just because, you know, people aren't fucking animals in the street doesn't mean we're not there. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below, and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all the eternal platforms I'm on. My socials, including my Twitter, all the ways to support me, and all the ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle, or I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below, and also in the comment section. Hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel, and/or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. I don't know if it's gonna be on my Speak Freely or my Mika Reacts channel. I have no idea. But if this is on Mika Reacts and Reviews, my other channel, Speak Freely, is in the links down below. You guys have an amazing day.